So Trump has promised the N-word for illegal migrants. And by N-word, of course, I mean, as he likes to call it, the nuclear word. But this isn't new news. If you've been paying attention to Donald Trump, he's been talking about doing mass deportations for over a year now. But what is interesting is he picked Tom Homan as his new quote unquote border czar. And he's actually an OG to the Trump administration. So here is from NPR. Homan was the face of Trump's administration's crackdown on immigration during his tenure as acting director of ICE from January 2017 to June 2018. Notably, Homan was one of the architects behind his controversial family separation policy. More than 5,500 children of immigrants were separated from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border in 2018 under the administration's short-lived zero-tolerance policy. According to the Department of Homeland Security, as of April, there were still 1,401 children without confirmed reunification. Homan actually ended up leaving the Trump administration back in 2018. But what did he go do after that? Of course, he became a Fox News contributor, joined the Conservative Heritage Foundation as a visiting fellow, and contributed to Project 2025, its controversial blueprint for reshaping the federal government. You remember that things that Republicans and Donald Trump himself tried to gaslight America into believing, and with actual success? Well, here it is right here. This is one of the guys that wrote Project 2025, specifically the immigration part.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Now, so let's go ahead and break that down because, first of all, most people who are smuggling fentanyl, because this is like a major talking point that Republicans have been pushing, that they're pushing the fentanyl in the country, the illegal immigrants, they're killing Americans. Well, most of the people who are doing that are U.S. citizens. 86.4%, the overwhelming majority are Americans trafficking fentanyl across the border. Now, let's talk about separating kids. So there is birthright citizenship in America under the 14th Amendment. And Donald Trump has already talked about gutting that. So he wants to spit in the face of the 14th Amendment. And let's talk about the $88 billion, which is for 1 year. That is an insane amount of money. We're talking about pay for officers, vehicles to get them to and from location, the fuel for that, the fuel to bus the immigrants once you get them, pay for the drivers, housing, food, the legal process, flying them out of the country, jet fuel to fly them out of the country, the pilots. So the $88 billion can easily just climb to something insane, because it's already insane to pay $88 billion for what we're doing. And also, this benefits absolutely nobody. So let's go ahead and go over the numbers here. This is from USA Today. The low-paid farm laborers who pick crops in Michigan and across the U.S. are significantly composed of migrants. And the not-so-secret truth is that many are undocumented. A 2023 report by the U.S. Department of Labor, based on interviews with nearly 2,600 migrant crop workers between 2020 and 2022, found that only 58% of those interviewed were authorized to work in the U.S. So we're talking about, if we round up 60%. So now we have 40%, a large group of the workforce in that particular sector. They're undocumented. So if you just cut them out, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, the prices are going to go up. And it's not just for grocery prices. We have this right here as well. This is for housing. Now, let's be honest. A lot of the people who are doing housing outside construction, they're immigrants, and some of them are undocumented. Francisca Ortega, an economics professor at the University of Queens College in New York, has studied that issue for many years, talking about documented immigrants versus undocumented immigrants in construction. Using a demographic framework to analyze U.S. Census Bureau data, Ortega calculates that the share of undocumented workers in construction at roughly 15%. Who do you think is building the damn houses? Of course, it's these people right here. And if you cut them out, you will be hurting yourselves. You're going to be hurting yourselves in terms of grocery prices, because now that workforce, as we just went over, won't be there. Prices are going to go up. Then you calculate his tariff idea. So now you have the tariffs on top of a now collapsed workforce in terms of the agriculture. Food prices are going to go up. You're going to go into Walmart, because I go to Walmart personally because I don't go to Publix because I'm broke. That's besides the point. But you're going to be going into Walmart now, and everything is going to be costing more money. And if you are in a major area where there is a housing crisis, this is definitely not going to help you either. So it is overall a very dumb policy, and it's going to be an absolute disaster.